Welcome to Winter is Upon Us, guys. New policies are here. Everyone's been talking about them, and obviously I've put my thoughts in the video already on the first looks, but this is going to be the guide, right? The guide. You've probably been wondering how to get through the best way. You can see I'm still punching through almost 3 minutes until we finish our next tech, because it's been a little bit slow. We'll admit, been a little bit slow. But how do you progress through this policy tree to a decent rate? And you can see I'm already about to finish this section and go through. How do you do it, right? So first things first, I will tell you the secret is spread the word. No matter what you do in this game, before you try it, right, you need to put as many points in to spread the word, right? You could start the game, you might have some prestige randomly, you might be surprised, check it out, put some points in, kill 1 or 2 Darklings only, pump more in to spread the word, kill another 1 or 2, finish it off, right? By actually mid-maxing that early stage, you're going to get the maximum amount of prestige per Darkling and obviously level up your prestige gain. And that's going to let you get as much prestige already that I have. This is only 11 o'clock in the morning, guys, right? On day 2. So I'm able to already keep pushing through this if I really wanted to with my CP. It's already coming back from the morning, right? So really, really powerful, right? So we get this first. This is the 10 out of 10. I don't care who you are. Just get it 10 out of 10. And then you can start progressing through the tree. So the way you want to progress through the tree at the start of the game is honestly make everything minimal till you get to 1 point, and then you can move back. So first, obviously, 10 out of 10, spread the word. 3 out of 10, your chain of command. This will be also 3 out of 10, I believe, for your military expansion. Get your 2 medical supplies, 3 out of 10. Move over and you're going to get your first choice, Opportunist and Easy Does It. To be honest, I think Easy Does It is just the one you're always going to go for, because you're now able to take Easy Does It plus the early game battle preparation, right? And this double combination is honestly right now giving us an absolute ton of resources in this game. So it's a really good option. If you're a cavalry main, like Pervisage, big shout out to you, man, right? You might take Opportunist. I just don't know. Maybe if they've got 2 accounts, they take this just to see how much resource you're really gaining. Because this doesn't really showcase, you know, any cooldown. This is just 50% of the resources you basically take off them, right? Which is kind of crazy. But it's for cav farm killers. If you're a farm killer, you're going to be going Opportunist. If you're not a farm killer, like probably 9 out of 10 players, I would say maybe 8 out of 10 players, you're going to be taking Easy Does It. It's just the most obvious choice, right? From here, you're going into resource healing, and then you got your next choice. And this is where things do get interesting, because obviously in my first video on this, I did say these are kind of like generic buffs, but they're kind of not at the same time now. They've made us choose what you want to do, right? So you can see here we've got counter infantry, counter cavalry, counter marksman, and counter mage, right? There is a choice you have to make. Do you want to do more damage to infantry, or do you want to do more damage to cavalry? And the thing is, I'm going to tell you right now, take the infantry one. I know the cavalry mains are going to be so happy right now, because honestly, cavalry are going to probably get running rampant in this season. However, infantry are too important in the game. If you've got a stronger infantry front line than your opponent and you kill theirs, it has always been proven the stronger frontline team wins the war, because you're just pushing into the back line, you melt the back line, and then you keep going. So you need to have the damage to the infantry. I just feel like this one is a must. It's just a must. You have to take this one, unfortunately. Maybe if there was a lot more cavalry, you might want to take the counter cavalry, but you're not going to see nowhere near as much cavalry players as you're going to see infantry. It's going to be everywhere. So you have to take this, right? Then it comes to the more interesting choice, counter marksman or counter magic. I am a marksman player, and obviously to me, I went counter magic for 2 reasons. And I do think if you're a magic player, so if you're playing mages, you're also going to go counter magic. And there is a lot of marksman players. I'm going to be honest, you will see this season probably a lot more marksmen than you've ever seen in any of the seasons due to the long-range talent warfare. That's just going to be a given. However, when you look at just the general player base of Call of Dragons right now, most players, low spend, free to play, and even medium spenders, right, are mage mains. It's because mages are being more easy to use, they're a lot more easy to handle, and obviously a lot of players love the AoE and skill damage based gameplay, right? And because of that, you're most likely going to see more magic units. So for me, I think no matter what, you're going to go down the counter magic role. However, if you do feel like there's going to be a ton of archers in your, season, there's no hating. There's no hating on the counter marksman. Now, if you're an infantry player, this is completely different. And that's kind of why I wanted to stop here, because I've kind of talked about this from a ranged player perspective. If you're an infantry player, you're going to probably still keep counter infantry so you can beat the other infantry players out there. But what you also are going to probably change, though, you might want to take counter marksman. Because the thing is, if you're able to ever get your infantry to the backline, everyone knows marksman units, honestly, laser. The amount of single target damage these guys do, they are kind of accustomed when they're at medium range to the task of zeroing down infantry. Like, they have to kill the infantry line, let the mages attack over the infantry, right, and deal more damage to the backline. That's perfectly fine. We're happy to do that job. And because of that, infantry, I think, need to take damage dealt to marksmen so you can get through, kill those marksman units, and try and get even further back, and keep killing mages. I think marksmen are going to be the more problematic role for an infantry player, but I could be wrong. Maybe in infantry main, you want to put a comment down below. Counter marksman, counter magic. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. But for 9 times out of 10 players that are watching this video that are probably mage mains, archer mains, I am going to recommend counter magic. I just think you're going to see 100 times more mage players than archer players, right? It's just common theme in the game. Now, moving on, Buried Bones, you're going to obviously start taking this. It's going to be at 5 out of 5, I think, just to move on to your next progresses, which you can see here is where I'm at. And you can see Make Way and Administrative Excellence. As soon as you can get Administrative Excellence, guys, and you can see I'm already on day 2, I have it complete, do it. If you have to spend 80 gems, just fucking gem it. You're a free-to-play player, go to a gem mine, dedicate an hour, farm your 100 gems, right, whatever you need, get it back, pop it, because it's too long time. The time it takes to do this is too much time wasted on your policy tree. That's how players are falling behind when it comes to progressing even further and then moving back to start progressing, as you can see, like this, to 7 out of 10, right? So this is where you need to really just bite the bullet, 80 gem this motherfucker, and move on, right? Make Way, you don't need to do straight away. Right? I'm going to be honest with you. Policy-wise, it doesn't make any difference when you do this. All I'm going to recommend again for this policy, because it's a 4-hour charge, I know some people might be upset, but gem it. There's only these 2 and this one that you're ever going to gem. So it's going to cost you 80, just under, what, 320 gems, I think it is going to be, for doing this, right? By doing this, it's saving you so much time when you need it. Make Way is only going to be used if you're going to be a player that's going to be garrisoning buildings, right? Because Make Way is going to allow you to make your infantry units always get to the keep, always get to the bastion, always get to the pass, because no one can block it with an obstruction, right? So this is the only time you need it. So there's no point popping it until you need it. So remember that. There's no need. So moving on. The big question, the big question, you can see where I've gone. A lot of people have different opinions. I have honestly played Apothecary Upgrade for the last 2 seasons. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I hated it. It's a weird relationship, because the thing is, when you're waiting for fighting, like maybe right now, when you do get this maxed out and you have the 300% capacity bonus, you have so much elixir, it's insane, for the first day. And that is the big issue with it, because even if you take the Apothecary Upgrade here and later on you go for the production speed, right, it still isn't enough production speed per day to honestly get you, you know, that 300% maxed out in a 24-hour. It takes you, I think, 1 day and I think 6 to 8 hours in order for the game to max out the full one. And that's kind of crazy when you're constantly needing to heal in war. So for me, I am going to go down to healthcare reforms. People say, yeah, you might need to set an alarm for 6 hours, but technically you don't. If you go over that time, sure, you go over that time, you're losing out on the elixir. However, if it's an hour you've lost, I'm going to be honest, you're still going to regenerate more elixir in the next 6 hours than someone in the apothecary upgrade. So to me, it just makes sense always maintaining the elixir production speed. Per day, I've seen people heal over like 1 million plus troops just from elixir healing. And that is just per day because of how much uptime their elixir is. So I would definitely go for healthcare reforms. That's my opinion. Hate on me if you want. Put it down in the comments down below. We love controversial bits. Apothecary upgrade or healthcare. And then when it comes to this, it's a kind of the same thing. I prefer the daily percentage of the resource healing, right? So you can see I'm finishing in this one up. This gives you increased daily resource healing based on the percentage of total legions. Really good. You could go on the stockpile one if you've got lower troops. So if you don't have a ton of troops, right, I do believe stockpiling days is more beneficial for your account. If you've got a ton of troops and you've got a load of troops, actually the medical progress is more beneficial because you're working on your percentage now that's in your favor compared to everyone else that doesn't, right? So that's the only reason you wanted to switch between these two. Hopefully I've explained that a bit better. Now you're hitting military expansion 2. You know what that is. We're kind of waiting for this to finish and then we're moving on. But then you're going to get to your warrants, right? Gem this again when you are able to. You're going to need this. The sooner you can get your warrants for free-to-play players and the low spenders, and this is kind of obviously how my videos are made for, remember that. I know a lot of you spenders watch them too, but for the free-to-play and low spenders, the warrant capacity is so important. 2 war pets, you know how it feels, guys. You know how it feels. Even 3 war pets a day isn't good. And honestly, when you have these 5 a day, it's what's going to help your account, because even if you're gaining war pets that are really trash, but they've got good skills, maybe they're not the skills you're working towards, but you could use them in the future for a new pet, or you could sell them for a skill you need, or you could even sell them for protected resources, right? So there's a bunch of different things you could do and why it's actually really beneficial for your account. Some people might disagree, but those are the spenders, honestly, that can just spend money as hard as they want, and they don't realize how hard it is to get, you know, resources and rewards on the game for a free-to-play player. So you need to try and figure out these techniques where you might have to sacrifice one area for a bit if you want to maximize your fighting capabilities and obviously resource needs, right? Now we're going into the final section. You can see we're almost there. There's a lot to go, but we're almost there. Benevolence, Reprieve, Diligence. So this is, again, going to be an interesting choice. I don't know which one I'm going to go myself fully, but I am on the Reprieve train. I like the elixir capacity limit. This is 100% increase. I like the fact I get 10% as well cost in the resource reduction, which isn't too bad. And then we get another 20% production in the, you know, elixir. So really good, honestly, like really good one. And the thing is, you'll notice on all of these compared to the last seasons, there's no buffs, right? So this is honestly down to what you kind of want. If you're more of a free-to-play player, I do believe you're going to go down the benevolence route just because this is going to give you the most prestige you need. Obviously, the production. If you're any type of player that's played this game for a long time, and you've got a decent amount of troops and, you know, you just know what you're doing, I think Reprieve or Diligence, one of these two are going to be your main goal. So it's going to be, for majority, I'd say 90% of the players, it will make sense to your account which one you want. This is, I think, again, for more bigger players, while this is for more medium to lower players. This is for baby players, basically, right? But I'm going to most likely go Reprieve. I'm not going to, obviously, answer your questions here. Maybe in the comment section, maybe if you ping me in a Discord, I might answer, because it's so subjective. It's so subjective. Maybe we will do a video where maybe me and Guns will speak and we'll talk about what does he think now about the difference of these, because it is a really interesting topic. And I know a lot of you guys like to hear our thoughts on it. So there's that section kind of briefly swept under the carpet, right? So now we're moving on to the next section of the healing and the final new stuff in the policy tree. So all I would state here for me, I'm going for the production speed again. I know you could go for this production. I don't know if this 100,000 is more beneficial than the total percentage of your troops, this production speed. I'm going to work it out. Someone will most likely DM me when this video goes live and say, I have the data. If you've got the data, I'll make a video with your data and shout you out on which one is better. But obviously, I think it's close. It is pretty close which one you're going to go. I think I'm just going to stick with production speed, just double down on it because I went on it earlier. And then when it comes down to the bottom one, here we're going to get the daily resource healing percent. Again, kind of makes more sense for my account. Then moving across the final areas. And this is where it's going to be interesting because the policy tree is going to be very different on this selection depending on what player you're at. So I think if you're an infantry main or a cavalry main, you are going to be using group tactics for infantry. Obviously, cavalry players are going to be using hasty march. And if you're not aiming to be an army group main, standalone. Because the thing is, 5% increased defense on your legion when it's in an army group is kind of crazy if you're an army group captain. Because with the seasonal talents, right, you're going to get all the infantry buffs plus that 5% extra counterattack damage while you're in an army group. So it all adds up over time when you specialize in being an army group captain, and it'll be interesting to see those players and how well they perform. So the infantry mains, I think, are going to go down the group tactics. Cav mains are going to go down the hasty march. Literally everyone else that is not one of those is going down standalone, because you're not going to be bothered about the army group, right? You're going to be using it. You might send an infantry march or cav march to help it out, but you care about your 4 mages or archers that you're going to be using this season. So because they're not in army groups, you want that 2% more damage on them while they're in the field. I think if you don't have this, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it, honestly, guys. Then moving on, we don't need to worry about these two. This is just for the Bastion and, garrison leads. If you're a garrison and rally captain, these are yours. You know what to do. Max those bad boys out. Shared Glory, though, is another really interesting one. This could be good for the free-to-play players to get maxed up if you want to join into those army groups and get some extra merits when you're earning in them. But again, army group captains will love this, especially if they've gone for group tactics and all the seasonal talents to all combine. You're going to get a ton of merits, I reckon, an absolute ton of merits from everyone else's hard work. That's the best way of putting it, right? Bitter End is going to be the finish. So with Bitter End, deal 5% more damage no matter what. However, if you are fighting someone else with the Bitter End, right, you both lose 2%. So this is going to be the interesting one for everyone. You are going to unlock it, but are you going to have it active? Because that's the one thing, remember, with this policy, you can turn it on or off at any given time. It's up to you. If you're going against players that you've noticed and you're not getting that many deads from, well, you might want to keep it on, right? But if you notice you're getting quite a lot of deads, just turn it off. I honestly don't think the 5% more damage is valued for majority of players. The only people that can honestly get away with Bitter End are those players that are like 100, I'd say like 120 million, maybe 110 million power and above, because they've got the troops and they've already still got the trading speed ups to get more troops if they need to. So those type of players can keep this permanently on, most likely. And then at the end of the season, the Osprey is going to heal them back up, 35% back up for you. So it is what it is, right? And then moving on, Palliative Care and Glorious Death. So you are going to take these. Everyone's going to have to take these. It's just going to give you more merits at the end of the day, as well as more elixir at the end of the day for your T4s and your T5 units that die. The one thing I would suggest, even though it's been a policy guide, and I've kept this right to the end because they are at the end, I wished this one here, gain 1 elixir for every one of your level 4 units that died. I honestly wish was back here. You know where Administrative Excellence 2 is? I would love it to be here and give it a little bit earlier on, because I think if you give it earlier on, you're giving the T4 players the access to this talent, and that's what people want, right? The T5s and the spenders are going to get this really quickly anyway, and they're going to get the benefit compared to any of the T4 players. So I think if there's a dev watching this video, you've enjoyed the guide, and right at the back, or maybe someone puts it as a suggestion, I do think you need to move this here, and it would be a much better slot for you, right? But that is the policies, the entire season policies. That's what you should be doing, pushing it all the way through to get to here. Once you've honestly pushed through your, major, pushes, and you've gotten to, standalone, that's where most people want to get to. I would push to as soon as you can get to this. Once you've got standalone, or you're waiting for certain things, you move back, right? Max out your military expansions that you need, because you need to increase your legion cap. And then what I would obviously max out is your Wellspring Vigor and obviously Chain of Command. Get those done as well as fast as possible. Doesn't matter what order you really do these. The benefit, some people would say get the CP recovery done first, just because the sooner you get this done, the more benefits you're actually getting per day, right? On the extra prestige you're getting for your account. But apart from that, yeah, just get those done, and then you work on your PvP stuff, right? So work on your healing, then work on your counter damage buffs at the end, and then you pretty much maxed out your tree, right? So that is the policies. Hopefully I've explained it all to you guys. Hopefully you liked all of my explanations throughout the video. It's been a long one, I know, but you guys enjoy these long videos, especially when I give you some good insight to them. So if you enjoyed it, smash like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video about. Maybe your friends don't watch the content. Maybe they don't know about the channel because YouTube algorithm doesn't like to promote me sometimes. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the tags, who knows. But until then, smash like, comment, and subscribe. Stay safe, stay sneaky. Peace out.